edition of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Mach1 Performance Cup Series action. This time coming at you live from the simulated Nashville Super Speedway, 1.33 mile concrete track that they recently renovated, Dustin, and brought it out to light. And now all the top three series run here, and it has been a darn good facility for NASCAR since they've brought it back to light. Weather today, 86 degrees in the sky, and then the track temp at 108 degrees. We've seen hotter, but this is one of the hottest races so far this season, and being in the summertime, it's quite expected. But my name, as always, is Jay Stan, and to my right, Mr. Dustin Locks. How's it going over there?
Hey, going good. Looking to see what these boys can bring down in the Music City here at Nashville Super Speedway. Don't let the name fool you. It says Super Speedway. No, it's not like Daytona or Talladega, but this track definitely poses some good racing. Drivers don't have to deal with what the real Xfinity and Cup drivers had to deal with over the weekend as they visited this track, that being the heat. But they will have to deal with it in the aspect of that track temperature, Jeremy. That is going to play a factor tonight, but should be some damn good racing all the way around.
Yeah, one main difference between the simulated world and the real world is they don't have that black resin that they apply to the track. So this track is typically a one-groove bottom feeder, at least if you're single file. Now, if you're two wide, that plays a completely different role. I was fortunate to partake in the ARCA race, which you guys should all sign up for on Thursdays. It's hard to pass on the bottom. If you have a decent car that runs the middle line, can really pinch down the guy below you. The outside line is almost preferred in it's 2x2 situation, so that should be it should play a factor for this race tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Racing should be good. I mean, it's if the Cup race and the Xfinity race was anything to show, and with what we've known to expect from these guys at Full Throttle Sim Racing, it should definitely be some good running here. I mean, we see some of the familiar names up at the top of the timing charts right now in practice. Chuck Sweeting leading the way right now. Matthew Tremblay running second. Richie Coy third. Matthew Vachon and Brian Dublé round out your top five. So, again, we've seen some familiar faces up there at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Wouldn't expect anything different, Dustin. And Chuck Sweeting is, we know he's always been pretty fast, but this past couple weeks, he's stepped up his game. He sees that Mach1 Motorsports coming out here and saying, hey, this is the new top team. And I think that two team there of Gil Gauck and Chuck Sweeting of Gator Racing, they're stepping it up. Gil Gauck's been putting on some excellent setups for Chuck, and Chuck knows how to run them. And he's been tearing it up, currently 1/10 faster than everybody else. Pretty stacked up, though. And they said, yeah, there's familiar names up there. But if you look through, all the way through 15th to 20th, they're all within 1.5, 2/10. So it's anyone's ball game tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody's ball game when it comes to time. But we know these races typically go long. They see long green flag runs, so we know tire and fuel strategy is going to come into play. And a lot of these boys, man, we've seen some crazy strategies come out from both in the Sim Racing Points Truck Series and the Mach1 Performance Cup Series, so I wouldn't expect anything less. Want to make mention, though, that there's a new driver to Mach1 Motorsports. You were talking about and brought up Mach1 Motorsports. They've been on a rail quite a bit in this series. I believe Nicholas Moreau has taken the pole in every single race this season so far. Yep, 4 for 4. So they added another driver to that, being Fred Moreau, for tonight's event. Why
not, right? Unprecedented 6 cars now on that team. 2 Moreau brothers, 2 Vachon brothers, and then Tremblay's here. But their 6th driver, who hasn't been here after starting, I think, week 2 and 3, or 1 and 2 rather, hasn't shown up since, and that's Alex Tupert. So we're waiting to see when he comes back in, but doesn't it look like he'll be joining us tonight? So a 5-car team running order for Mach1 Motorsports tonight. And also, quick mention too, we do have our NSIB rig driver tonight, Mr. Richie Coy, is going to be presented throughout the race, presented by Mach1 Performance, so stay tuned with that. But we got about 20 seconds left here, and as soon as I was saying that Richie Coy jumped up to the charts, P1, I'm also seeing Brody Hanna, Matthew Tremblay, and Nicholas Moreau all cracking the 29-second bracket, so this qualifying is going to be really tight as they kick it over to qualifying, which is going to be in about the next 10 seconds or so, Dustin.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight qualifying for sure with that. Like I said, you see Fury Motorsports up there with Richie in first, Brody in third, Gator Racing up there with Chuck in second. You see Moreau Motorsports holding fourth through sixth place right now. So it's going to be some fast qualifying. Be prepared to see some blister laps going down.
Yeah, for sure. And as they're going to go ahead and take the track for the qualifying efforts, this is our time to start thanking some people. As always, if you come to watch us each and every week on Nerd TV, first and foremost, the league themselves, just head yourself over to ftsr.net, or you can type out the full thing, Full Throttle Simracing.net. If you watch this league for more than a few times on our broadcast, you know these guys are some of the best with the collectiveness of keeping things clean and running really fast, consistent lap times with, cautions are at a minimum. So once again, FTSR.net, sign up 4 different series, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. The Mondays and Wednesdays are paid. Thursdays and Saturdays are free. So they got best of both worlds there. FTSR.net. Thank you to Mach1 Performance, tonight's Cup Series sponsor, and every Monday going forward. It's a fabrication shop produced and created by Johnny Coy Jr., the late and great. The shop has produced championship winners from multiple divisions, from dirt and pavement oval racing. So if your car needs some fabrication work, go check out Mach1 Performance. Thank you to Sim Racing Points, the Wednesday Truck Series sponsor for the Full Throttle Sim Racing League, and also part of the Nerditudes as well. You see my car there on the front screen. I have to mention that. But it's a
sexy
points league. It is, right? And your car's right behind it too. Actually, check that out. It's
Where it usually is.
Yeah, right. kind of. It's an inclusive league points management system. These guys over there at simracingpoints.com, they do it great. It's a simple upload of your export, and it produces hundreds of different designs on your website to display your points or any type of stats that you're looking for. If you head over to ftsr.net and click on the any type of driver stat or the points that they got currently live displayed, it's all run by Sim Racing Points. Check it out for yourself. It's a admin's best friend, and it keeps everything super clean. It's well worth it, and it's a great price point as well. Once again, simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, continued partner for the Nerditudes. We keep saying it's the home of the sim gloves, but they also have a lot of other stuff too. Customized t-shirts, hoodies, hats. They almost got your full entire wardrobe set up for you. A lot of custom orders, and they come with the fastest turnaround in the business. And the product's really comfortable too. Rates with some of the best merchandise and apparel out there. So head over to martinsports906.com and you see that bold green text at the bottom. That's Super Nerd. That's going to get you 25% off. Use that as your checkout code. Thank you to iRacing. iFlag, flag partner for the Nerditudes. 4x6 3D printed unit goes on your desk. It's basically your flag marshaling system. It's your spotter. It's basically an all-in-one for a visual aspect. Kind of completes the sim rig. It's really bright. 64 LED lights that kind of just change as the race goes. Whatever happens on the track in real time, this thing will display it for you. One of a kind product you will not find anywhere else, and it's a pretty good price as well. So iRacing, iflag.com, and the same code as last time. You see that bold green text. That's going to be Super Nerd. It's going to get you 15% off. Thank you to The Butt Kicker over at thebuttkicker.com. It produces that much-needed feel from the seat. It essentially attaches to any center post of your racing chair, and it brings all the bumps and feels and everything you would feel inside of an actual car produced right inside your sim rig. So with that, it's going to allow you to perform at your peak performance, especially if you drive a real car, a real race car, and then you come over to iRacing. You kind of want that feel because that's what they're used to, and this gives it all to you. So you're going to head over to thebuttkicker.com and Nerd TV this time, get you 20% off. Then get a Moonlight Speed over at moonlightspeed.com, official paved setup partner for the Nerditudes. Professional setups built from the ground up, and these setups over there are going to get you some much needed wins. We're about 4 weeks into the iRacing official season right now, so if you're kind of a little behind on the points, let these guys get you up there. Head over to moonlightspeed.com. Head over to the Discord too. They got a great community. consistently working on these setups, getting drivers' feedbacks, the best in the business. And thank you to houseofspeed.us. Same deal, essentially, just on the dirt side. Got the nerds completely covered on asphalt ovals and dirt ovals. Professional setups on the dirt side. Nothing with rallycross or anything road related, but the oval side, they got you covered. Doesn't matter if it's a slick surface or a tacky surface. These setups run great. Once again, houseofspeed.us. And lastly, Nerd Focus. If you want to stay focused, no matter what your project is ahead of you, you're going to head over to nerdfocus.com. Pick up one of their 2 drinks. If you like sugar, pick up the green label. If you like sugar-free, pick up the blue. Either one, great tasting and keep you focused for hours on end. And use that Super Nerd checkout code. As always, this time it's going to get you 10% off. All right, Dustin. Looks like these guys are taking the grid. So if you want to go running down the starting lineup for us.
Absolutely. On the pole for the 5th straight week, Nicholas Moreau and that number 50 Moreau Motorsports Chevy to his outside teammate Matthew Vachon. Chuck Sweeting is going to roll off grid on P3. Richie Coy to his dancing partner, both on track and in the starting grid to his outside in 4th. Matthew Tremblay in 5th. Stephen Lou Allen's going to start 6th. Brody Hanna in 7th. Wayne Grossi is going to start 8th. Alex Murphy 9th. And Chris Beck will round out your top 10 start.
11th place, you're going to find that number 11, Tony Solari. 12th place, Sherwood Williford. 13th place, Gil Gawk. 14th place, you'll find Martin Garreau. 15th, you're going to find Josh Mayu. To his outside in 16th is Brian Bliss. 17th, Lane Allen. 18th, Steve Loomis. 19th, Chad Lang. Rounding out the top 20 is Joshua Johnson in that 57. And then the 4 guys behind him did not qualify. We'll take the provisional spots for tonight's race. 21st, Fred Moreau, new to the league here. 22nd, James Wallace. 23rd, Ryan Hedrick. And 24th, Brian Dublé.
Yeah, should be a good show tonight. As you see, these drivers are lining up, Jeremy. They are ready to get this race going. Again, race number 5 of the Mach1 Performance Cup Series here at Full Throttle Sim Racing, coming at you live from simulated Nashville Super Speedway in the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, we got 150 laps, 200 miles here, essentially at this facility, as they're going to take their pole lap here to kind of get everything set up for the race tonight. Being a part of the ARCA race, Dustin, this racing was really good. I know it's a complete different car, but everything I've seen in real life, everything I've seen on the ARCA race on Thursday, simulated here, it was a great race no matter what kind of car they have here. So really anticipated looking at this one to see who's going to come out on top. Will strategy prevail? Will just a really bad, fast car come through? And I want to mention, I don't know if you talked about it, that 15, Nicholas Moreau, 5 for 5 on poles this season, edging out Matthew Vachon, his teammate, by a whopping 19 100ths of a second. Really close. So these guys are dialed in and ready for this green flag. Just waiting for the official flag to fly, which happens right now. The 15 takes a start here. The 26, his teammate, gets a great launch with him as well. 19 right behind him. And Chuck Sweeting here on the bottom, entering turn number 1.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting on the inside. They're still trying to figure out where everybody's at. You see Matthew Tremblay on the inside of Richie Coy getting that run there. Looks to clear him out of 2 and 2 and does. Still side by side, though, is the 75 of Chuck Sweeting and the 26 of Matthew Vachon.
These guys all up here in the top 4 or 5, all running the Silver Crow numbers. And we got a turn. The 19 turns the 25 deep into the infield. No caution is out. The 25 able to save it. He's going to lose a lot of time, but luckily no damage done to that machine.
Yeah, unfortunate was that that situation there. As you know, we had seen that happen. That is an unfortunate event. A little bit of contact there from the 19. You see the 25 flying to the inside. Excellent bit of driving, though, to keep that thing going. He's going to have to try to make up some time on the track or hope for that quick caution early in the race to try to gain some time up there, Jeremy.
Your early incident, you hate to see it, but at the same time, I think that 25 just didn't exit as high as Richie was anticipating. The 25 went for a low exit on the corner, and when you're side by side, you kind of anticipate that upper car to kind of push up near the wall, but this time he did not. Richie Coy did not pick up on that cue, and that's what sent him around. Nothing intentional and malicious, just kind of happened on accident. But that's the only incident that's happened so far. He's going to be, that 25 is going to be hoping for a caution. But everybody else is still pretty dicey dusting out here, even inside the top 5.
Yeah, top 5 is still pretty dicey, which surprises me. We usually see these guys try to stretch it out a little bit, try to get in tune for that long run. But I mean, further back there, I mean, you see them, they're 2, almost pushing 3 wide back there, right around Brian Bliss. So these drivers still trying to get everything they can and gain as much track position possible early in this race.
Yeah, you see that Richie Coy just a couple cars in front of Brian Bliss when he got involved with that 25 there off of turn number 4. He definitely checked up a lot and dropped himself back, I think, 6 or 7 positions. So he's going to kind of regroup and get himself back up to where he needs to be. But outside of that, yeah, these guys are running pretty good. And the 18 of Brian Bliss kind of surprised me. Qualified pretty decent. He's making a good run now.
Yeah, making a good run right now, working that inside on the inside of Gil Gawk, and he's got the 14 of Lane Allen behind him, the 11 of Tony Solari up top. These guys are 2 by 2 by 2 back here battling for that 11th position just outside the top 10.
About to go 3 wide here. 85 of Gil Gawk running a little bit higher than normal, and the 11 just pinches down the 4 of Chatling. So close to spinning himself out there, able to keep it going straight. The 4 now to the inside of that 11. Oh, there's some contact. 11 heavy into the wall. No caution yet. Really weird the caution not come out right there. It looks like Gil Gawk went for an early exit and just shoved up the track and just plowed the 11 into that wall, and no caution still. So the 11 basically all but done here. That fender's completely destroyed and that tire is disconnected. I think Tony Solari is going to have an early exit tonight.
Yeah, unfortunate event there that took place with that. That was just that was hard racing that took place on that one there, and it looked like he lost it. It drifted up, and I mean, unfortunately, you know, the 11 was the one that paid the ultimate price on that, and that was the 85 of Gil Gawk that got into him. But yeah, Jeremy, the way that fender is bouncing up and down on that 11 of Tony Solari, that right front tire is definitely disconnected, and we know with this new damage model, that's terminal right there. The amount of repairs, he's gonna be sitting on pit road for a while.
Yeah, last season they had no worries of that whatsoever. Now this new update comes out, and I like the new damage model. It brings some realism in, and when you do that, sometimes it bites you in the rear a little more than you would hope. Like that, the 11 might have continued if it was last season, but this season, nope. It's all new damage model, and that right front is completely destroyed. I do not know if that's going to be repairable. The team's going to be working hard on it. We got lots of time left. We're only on lap number 9 of 150 scheduled, so if they can get it out there, that'd be something cool, but it's just going to take a lot of work from that team.
Yeah, and right now, as far as racing, you are seeing Nicholas Moreau and Chuck Sweeting just walking away from the rest of this field. Nicholas Moreau not really driving away from Chuck, though. Chuck staying right with him in the early stages. We're 10 laps into 150 total.
Little issue from Brian Bliss on the front stretch there, as we were talking about Gil Gawk. He got off of turn number 4, hit the wall pretty hard, got loose, came back and slammed the wall once again. A little bit of wall glue. He falls back quite a few spots, really, all the way back behind the number 47, which is going to, I think, put him right around 20th place. Yeah, right at 20th place there. So he lost about 10 spots there that last lap.
Yeah, unfortunate event. But again, it's a track, Nashville Super Speedway. It's like we talked about in the pre-race show presented by Martin Sports. It's one of the newer tracks to the circuit. So a lot of these drivers may not have a lot of time on this track here to, as far as practice time. So they're learning as they go as well. And sometimes that track, she can jump up and bite you like that. But, talking about movers of the race right now, you see Fred Moreau, who did not take qualifying time, has moved from his starting spot up 9 positions. He's now sitting in 12th, just 2 spots outside the top 10. And he's looking to march forward just outside the top 5, because again, Jeremy, we talk about top 5s and top 10s. Those are the stats you're wanting. Chris Beck right now is trying to chase down that 23 of Brody Hanna. Beck in 6th place, just outside that top 5. So those are your movers, and right behind him you see that 19 of Richie Coy rebounding after that contact early with Matthew Tremblay.
You mentioned that 44 Chris Beck. We have not seen him run close to the top 5 this season, so really glad to see that 44 U.S. Air Force Ford Mustang to put on the performance that he has. I know he's getting a lot of pressure from that 19. And with
Such
that
a
19
sweet
early
looking
incident.
paint scheme too. That retro warthog style with the shark teeth. It's an awesome paint scheme.
It really is, and it's all chromed out. It has a little rivets painted on it and everything if you get to it really in detail. It's just a really solid paint scheme. It doesn't not get enough credit for that car, how amazing it looks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me of Bobby Terrell's truck. His truck is painted the same way. They put a lot of detail into it. Very cool paint schemes, and I always like paint schemes that are, if done right, military-wise. I've always been a fan of them, and both Terrell in the Sim Racing Points Truck Series and Chris Beck in the Mach1 Performance Cup Series here tonight, they both done an excellent job on their paint schemes.
A lot of these guys have, really, for the most part, too, but especially those two guys. I love the chrome. I love people utilize the chrome or any type of spec maps, and not just the standard gloss, which you see a lot of guys do. It is kind of confusing on how iRacing kind of implements that process, but once you do it right, you see it in that 44 car, just looking amazing.
Absolutely. Talking about the 44 cars, he is slowly tracking down. Just got passed by the 19 of Richie Coy, so now Richie chasing down his Fury Motorsport teammate of Brody Hanna. Fred Moreau has cracked the top 10, again, up 11 positions. Just in front of him, you want to talk about big movers of the race. That number 4, Chad Lang, up 10 positions from his starting spot, running in 9th. So, Jeremy, we're already starting to see some of these drivers move from the back and start making their way up to the front.
We know that Mura Motorsports produces amazing long-run setups, and this guy was just in 10th place in practice, only a 10th and a half out of that pole time. So, not surprised, though I don't know much about Mr. Fred, so we're going to learn a lot from him tonight, and right now it looks like he can drive through traffic pretty good, considering he's up 11 spots, only 17 laps in.
Yeah, so I'm definitely on the move. We know that he can definitely perform based on practice times, but I mean they're going to have to do something, Jeremy, because right now Nicholas Moreau and Chuck Sweeting just, pulled away from that. A little bit more spacing in between the 15 and the 75 now. You see it right there on your screen. About 4 or 5 car lengths separate them. But they have pulled away quite a bit. But that 26 of Matthew Vachon is slowly starting to track in these top 2 cars. And right behind him, up 4 positions from his starting spot, none other than Wayne Grassi in that number 7 retro Pennzoil car.
And what a little comeback for that 7 car. After race number 2, had a week or so off. I think it was only a week and a half, really. And now he's back and running inside the top 5. This guy, he kind of surprises me sometimes. Like, he'll be in the back, and all of a sudden, within a short amount of laps, she's boom right there in the top 5, lurking for podium position. So, definitely keep an eye out for that number 7. I think he's going to be producing a pretty good race overall for everyone this evening.
Yeah, and this is not something we're accustomed to seeing out of Wayne Grassi. I'm not talking about running up front, but usually he's a mid-run to late-run guy, and that's where he makes up his time, and that's where he gets in position. So seeing him up here this soon makes me wonder exactly what he's got in the tank for the rest of the field as this run goes on.
Yeah, we're about to find out. He's running only 3 seconds back on Nicholas Moreau, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on the lap times and see exactly what he's going to bring to the table this evening. You mentioned about 10 laps ago that this track's newer to a lot of these guys here, so there's a lot of question marks and who's got the long run setup. We honestly don't know. So, and you can't really apply, Dustin, the kind of setup you bring to most speedways, because this track has a lot tighter of a turn radius and it's a little bit flatter than most others. So even though it's shaped like a cookie cutter, it drives nothing like one.
Yeah, I'm watching this race right now for the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th position. So you got Chris Beck on the inside in that 44 car. You got Chad Lang on the outside. You got Alex Murphy in the 31, Lane Allen in the 14, and working his way into the picture there is James Wallace. So this is a nice little 5-car battle we got going on for just outside that top 10.
Yeah, pretty good run here overall. Looks like that 31 starting to fall back just a little. The 4 of Chad Lang really drives it up high, and there is no outside lane here when you're doing it solo, so that quickly that 14 Lane Allen passes him, no problem. That 31 now is going to dive to the inside with that door opening up for him. But Chad still committed on that mid to upper line right there. And actually, it's side by side. They get so close.
Oh, so close.
Contact. But thankfully, these guys keep it going straight.
Woo! Man, I don't think you could have got that any closer. We do have a yellow flag out on the track right now. Looks like that is going to involve... looks like Matthew Tremblay ended up going off track on that one. We're going to go back and take a look to see what happened here. Yeah.
I'm actually... Go ahead. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it. 50 Martin Garreau kind of caused that. Started off anyways.
Yeah, I see that. See that right now. It looked like Matthew Tremblay was just trying to get away from what looked like the 50 of Martin Garreau there, who had spun it coming out of the corner there. So again, that's a tough break, but again, we don't really see a lot of cautions when it comes to these races, Jeremy. And I mean, we do usually see an early caution, but this one here looks like it might have involved maybe just a little bit of help from behind from the 47 on the 50 of Martin Garreau, as we're watching live right now. It looked like it was, but Jeremy, I don't think there was any contact there. It just looked like Martin Garreau just got loose coming out of the corner, and the 47 of Ryan Hedrick drove it up high. I don't think there was any contact there.
No, with the new next-gen update, also came with some physics changes in how the tire reacts with the car and whatnot. Doesn't produce that snappy loose anymore. And it was kind of gradually spinning out right in front of him as the 47 got a little closer. Could have been a little aero-dependent right there, who knows? But he just gradually got loose, and then when he hit the apron, the car overcorrected to the right, and it just once again gradually went up and slammed the outside wall. So nothing the 47 did wrong. It's just that 50 was running a little loose on that long run.
Yeah. And I mean, it happens. We've said it before. A lot of these drivers, first time that they have been to this track, so it's something that's new to them. They're still learning, and it's an open setup league. So I mean, sometimes these setups they may be close, but they not 100% spot on. That these drivers are constantly making adjustments to these setups all race long. As we see our first run of pit stops under caution at lap 25, Chuck Sweeting comes out on top, and Jeremy, our leader coming in, Nicholas Moreau, dropped way back, showing in 19th position right now, lost 18 positions from where he was sitting at through that cycle of pits.
Yeah, as we were talking for that last minute, I was actually trying to figure out what exactly was going on with that 15. He entered in pit road 5 miles an hour under the speed limit. Didn't make any abrasive moves, nothing unsafe about it. He just pulled into a stall, and I don't know, Dustin. Like, he just sat there. Like, he had to get up, he had to use the bathroom, he had to get a drink, something. So I don't think anything he did was wrong entering the pit road. So maybe something a little personal behind the scenes that was going on that made him, pull out 19th.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's if you have to do that, I mean, it's a sim world. We have the luxury of being able to do that. It's best to do it early in the race. I mean, Jeremy, they still have 124 laps to go before the checkered flag flies in the Nashville 200 here. So he's got plenty of time to make his way back up to the front there, and we know he's got the speed, so he can do it. The issue is with that is that allows some of these drivers here, if it goes long green flag run, to really stretch it out. Chuck Sweeting's up front. We know that he loves those long green flag runs like that. That could pose very dangerous, especially as Nicholas Moreau has got to really start bobbing and weaving through traffic and try to work his way back up. He's got to turn around and pass 19 other drivers before he can get that top spot again. And Jeremy, you know as well as I, these drivers are not going to give up those spots easy.
I don't know if you noticed too, Dustin. That 75 Chuck Sweeting was only 5 or 6 tenths off of Nicholas Moreau, which usually Nicholas Moreau pulls out to a 3, 4, 5 second advantage. So the fact that the 75 was able to keep that number 15 in check the entire run so far, if that long run's still good, like that 75 might be the best car out here so far.
Very possibly could be, but we won't know for another 123 laps. We'll find out exactly where everybody sits on that one. Your top 5 running order right now, after pit stops have cycled through under caution. That caution brought out by the 50 of Martin Garreau, getting loose off of turn 4. Chuck Sweeting leads. Wayne Grossi is in that second spot. Matthew Vachon third. Brody Hanna fourth. And Richie Coy rounds out your top 5. But Jeremy, look who's just outside that top 5, looking to crack it. Newcomer, first race here at Full Throttle Sim Racing. Fred Moreau started in the back, up 15 spots in that 6th position. And on top of that, James Wallace up 12 spots. Last year, one of last year's heavy rookie contenders with his teammate Ryan Hedrick is up 12 spots, or 11 to 12 spots there, sitting right there at that top 10 mark.
Yeah, Fred's like, you know what, Nicholas? I know you had to pit and take care of what you got to, but I got your back. Now I'm going to run up here inside this top 5 and do what you were doing. But the green flag is back out. Chuck Sweeting at the point this restart here. Wayne Grossi up to 2nd place. Let's see what he's got now for that 75.
Yeah, going off into the corner side by side. That inside line looks like it is going to prevail, though. Chuck Sweeting is going to take that top spot. Wayne Grossi holding on, will fall in line behind. It looked like he's going to look to the inside. He is looking to the inside. He's going to try to challenge the 75 of Chuck Sweeting after that start. Don't know if he's going to have it, though. Chuck running that lane up. He's running that mid-groove there. Gets him a good run through, but Wayne Grossi powering through off that corner. These two are side by side as they cross the line, going off into 1.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why the 75 gave him that door. I don't think the 7 had the nose there, but Chuck Sweeting played it really safe and allowed the 7 to pass. It also brings that 26 right underneath him. So Chuck, with an early 2 position disadvantage here, falls back into 3rd, and now Richie Coy in that 19 back up to 4th, pressuring on the 75.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe Chuck was, trying something out early on. It could be that with fresh tires, maybe running that midline right there is a safer option. It doesn't kick loose because, we've seen the 50 of Grow. Oh, contact going in as the 7 of Grossi drifts up into the 26 of Matthew Vachon. These two drag racing off of turn 2, going down the backstretch.
Number 7 just got a little push tight there in the center of 1 and 2. Hits the 26 right in the door panel. Right in the center, too, so no harm, no foul there. And these guys are running still close, even though they just made contact. The 26 is probably wondering what the hell just happened, but we know Wayne Grossi doesn't do anything like that maliciously, so he's still making a good charge here. 3 running 1 and 2 just as hard, able to clear the 26. New race leader, 3rd one this evening, or actually 4th one this evening, Wayne Grossi.
Yeah, but don't count the 26 out. He's not done yet. Right on the back bumper is Matthew Vachon. Wayne Grossi, though, holding his line. If Vachon's going to try to make a pass, he's going to have to do it on that outside, because I do not feel that Wayne Grossi is going to give that lane up on that bottom. That's where he's been running strong so far, 32 laps in this event, Jeremy.
100% there. And the number 7 continues to run the middle of the line there through 1 and 2. Not sure if that's just where his car feels most comfortable, but obviously that 26 right now, able to take advantage of it with that bottom wide open, and he shoots it deep into turn number 3, able to get a good launch into that corner, takes that spot, but Wayne's still going to be on the point here on the exit number 4, and actually that 75, Dustin, Chuck Sweeting right on the back bumper now, looking to take over 2nd.
Yeah, Chuck trying to take back some positions that he had at the restart, that first restart we had. He lost 2 positions early on to Wayne Grossi and Matthew Vachon, looking to try to take it up, and he's going to have to, because he's getting pressure right now as we have our 2nd caution of the evening out.
This time, looks like maybe the 17. Trying to take a look and see exactly where, but yeah, 2nd caution this evening, and yeah, it will be the number 17. Yeah, turn number 4. He just got loose, and actually maybe a little help by that number 4 of Chad Lang. Looks like on my end, it might have been a little bit of contact. It sends him to the outside wall after going through a little bit of the grass there, and does bring out the caution for the 2nd time this evening.
Yep, and it does look like there was a little bit of contact there. It looked like he might have been just a little uncomfortable going through that corner anyway in that closing speed. I don't think Chad Lang was expecting that, and just the slightest of touches there was just enough to spin it, but Stephen Allen able to keep that 14 car off of the walls, out of everybody's way. No other contact. Doesn't look like there's any major damage on that car. I think he's going to be all right to keep going there, Jeremy.
Yeah, the 14, yeah, somehow got loose there on the exit of turn number 2, and yeah, great awareness to keep that car down on the apron. Excellent car control, because that could have been a big problem if he would have drifted up just a few more lanes. Would have been quite a few cars involved with that, but thankfully the 14 was able to keep it clean. So just 4 fresh good years for that machine, and he's going to be good to go.
Yes, sir. So, and I guarantee after that one there, he's definitely going to want some fresh Goodyears. He's going to want that grip. But I tell you what, something else that would help him out would be some grip on those hands, Jeremy, from Martin Sports. MartinSports906.com, home of the sim racing gloves. Best around, but they also have all kinds of other apparel. They have hoodies, hats, full dye t-shirts. You name it, they have it. Great products, breathable, lightweight, fantastic all the way around. So check them out, martinsports906.com. Promo code SUPERNERD at checkout for 25% off.
And to kind of dovetail off of what you just brought up with Martin Sports, they also have the sponsorship for the Lucky Dog Award. This time, hashtag Get a Grip for Mr. Joshua Johnson. He was 19 laps down. Now he's 18 laps down. I mean, it kind of counts. Brian Bliss is 1 lap ahead of him. So, I mean, there's a position to be gained, and that's just 1 position better. So, hashtag Get a Grip for the number 57, Mr. Joshua Johnson.
Absolutely. So, again, excellent job on that, and he gets that lap back there, and you see him coming down pit road. He's gonna get some repairs done to that car there. A lot of damage on the right side of that car, Jeremy, so definitely looks like he's gotten acquainted with that outside wall a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like he's become quite the friend with it. You can see a lot of damage right behind that the number 57 door number there. Dead smack center too. I mean, if we're going to have damage on the side, it's going to be directly in the center. That's going to be the best case scenario. So at least he's got that going for him. But being 18 laps down, I think what happened is he had some internet connection issues or whatnot. I did see him disconnect temporarily, and then he had joined back in. So I don't know if that was part of it. Maybe he had a disconnect, and then the car drove up into the wall before it disappeared. I'm not too sure. But thankfully he's able to get back on the racing surface and continue trucking along here, as we got about a lap left before we go back to green flag to do the 3rd start this evening.
Yeah, Matthew Vachon is leading right now after that battle that him and Wayne Grassi had, and that number 7 right behind him. Chuck Sweeting is going to grid 3rd on this restart. Richie Coy, one of his favorite dancing partners throughout these long races, going to start 4th. And Brody Hanna, Richie Coy's Fury Motorsports teammate, is going to round out your top 5.
Noticing Nicholas Moreau was able to gain quite a few spots too. Remember, he started 19th on that restart prior. Now he's in 13th, so able to gain 6 spots in that short amount of time, and then he got a little reset here. So expect that 15 to crack inside that top 10 pretty quickly here.
Yep. So, and like I said, I mean, we expected that he was going to, be moving up fast. I mean, Moreau Motorsports, we know that they've got good speed. And, I mean, right now, you look at Moreau Motorsports as they're sitting, Nicholas Moreau sitting right around that 13th position. You have Matthew Tremblay is in 11th. You have Fred Moreau in 6th. You've got Matthew Vachon is leading the race right now. So, I mean, these drivers, they know how to get it done.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. These guys, for the most part, all know how to get the job done here as they're about to go to this restart. He's got 26. Looking pretty sporty. I think if he's able to keep the bottom track to himself, I think he's going to be all right. Number 7's got a really good amount of speed. I think he just needs to find that bottom lane a little more so, maybe to save those tires. I think he's got the dominant car here, and then that 75, you've seen him already in clean air. This guy can definitely take off for sure. The pace car does dip down. Wait for that green flag to fly. Green flag is out now. 26 does not have a great restart. The 7 is able to maintain him and get directly side by side with him entering turn number 1, as the 19 basically is lane choice entering 1.
Yeah, 26 didn't have that great of a start, but does clear the 7 coming out of turn 2. Right now, the 75 and the 19 are side by side going down the backstretch, drag racing this down all the way into turn 3. Count 3rd place now, Richie Coy, solidly in that position after that pass on Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, makes a good pass there, and They kind of single file out top 5 now. Wayne Grosky about 3-4 car lengths back from that 26. I know Richie Coy's wanting to get up there and get some clean air on that nose. He's got a really sporty car as well. Chuck Sweeting does drop back into 4th, and Dustin for the highest spot right now. Mr. Brody Hanna's inside the top. Actually, he's in 6th place. He's the fastest running that he's been so far. 23. You know, sometimes he surprises me, Dustin, with the amount of speed that he can carry on a short amount of runs here. So keep an eye out for that 23 as well. He might be a sleeper player.
Yeah, it's Mr. I don't like these next-gen cars who has won in these next-gen cars. He always seems to be a wild card that we don't know what to expect coming from him, but he has surprised us time and time again. And surprising me, I brought his name up before, that Fred Moreau has officially cracked the top 5 with that pass on that 23 of Brody Hanna. So Fred Moreau, first race here with Full Throttle Sim Racing for Moreau Motorsports, officially cracks that top 5. Now trying to chase down that 75 of Chuck Sweeting, which is no small feat.
Do you remember back like 10 years ago when the Joe Gibbs Toyotas in the Xfinity Series, or it was the Nationwide Series? You remember how like the joke was you could just throw a monkey or any type of animal, period, inside of one of their cars and they would win the race? That's kind of how like the Moreau Motorsports setups are looking like. Basically, you can just throw anyone in those cars, and not to take any discredit away from Fred or anything, but, you know, first time racing in this league and inside the top 5, you know that car's running pretty fast just because of that setup and, of course, the driver as well.
Oh, definitely. You know, it's they put a lot of time into it, but, I mean, that's just like the Fury Motorsports guys. I mean, they've won on oval track this season. They've won on road courses this season, and they've won on dirt. You know, these are probably 2 of the top, teams going at it right now, and not taking any credit away from any of the other teams like Gator Racing. Chuck Sweeting has been running phenomenal. Gil Gawk had a good run last week as well. You know, Rumble Racing, Gladiators Racing. I mean, a lot of these teams, they've been doing excellent, all season long as well. It's just, a lot of times, man, these setups, they are make or break a lot of the times. You see some hard racing right now between the 25 of Tremblay and the 33 of Williford, though. They got so close, Jeremy, there might have been a little contact there, door to door. There's contact there, though.
Yeah, that's twice in the same lap here. They come off of turn number 4, getting a little too close to each other, a little too close for comfort. You got to take care of them fenders. You know, we still have just over 100 laps left, so wise move by the 33 to kind of back off there. But as I was just saying that, I guess the 33 wants to take one more stab at it entering turn number 3. But I think that 25 might be able... Oh, he gets a little loose, actually, and it's going to bring the 33-25 back to being side by side. Come off the board.
Yeah, and right behind them, we're on board right now with Nicholas Moreau as he gives a little bit of a bump there to his teammate, the 25 at Tremblay, and try to get him going, saying, hey, come on, I need to get up there. Tremblay finally does clear the 33. That's going to leave the door open for the 15 of Moreau to try to make his way. But again, we know that the 33 of Sherwood is not going to give it up easily. As you see, he was thinking about taking a look on the inside there at turn 3 on the 25.
Yeah, he definitely took that look and was like, nah, I just can't do it. So he had to back out. Now that 15 looking to really take advantage of this here as they're all single filed. You know that 15 is one of the fast cars on this track. So, and the long run definitely prevails. So, does he just go for it? Does he wait patiently and kind of pick these off one by one? We're kind of seeing it right here. It looks like he's being a little patient us in that 15. Looks like he's not just super excited to get back up to the front at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, we still have a lot of laps, too. We still have 104 laps to go. We're not even 50, 103 as they cross the line. We're not even, 50 laps into this event. He's got time. And the tricky part going from the back to the front like that, because you have to pass so many cars, you don't want to burn your stuff up because you don't know how long these runs are going to go. And with how Full Throttle Sim Racing typically runs, they have a high probability of long green flag runs going into these races. So if he burns his stuff up too soon, that just means that on the back end of that run before green flag pit stops, that's just all the more that these lead drivers, the lead top 5 can pull away because they're up there saving their stuff and they haven't had to work near as hard as what Nicholas has going through the field.
This is very true, and the 15 did pass the 33 the hard way, which is on the outside. And I mentioned in the pre-race that, if you're side by side, typically the outside line has the preferred line if you can kind of ruined the run by pinching the guy down on the bottom, and 15 took full effect on that. Now he's waiting for his teammate at the 25 here, Tremblay. See what he does with James Lawson at 67, also producing a great race. He's gained 14 or 15 spots, Dustin, 22nd to 7th, by virtue of not making a qualifying time. The Grow Life Chevrolet Camaro running pretty strong up to this point.
Yeah, running strong indeed. Right now, that 26 of Matthew Vachon getting a lot of pressure right now from Richie Coy. Richie Coy's been working on him about the last 5 laps or so, and he is staying right with him, Jeremy. That 26 is not pulling away. That 19's hungry. That 19 is real hungry right now. I do want to give a shout out in the chats too. Dean Gear has shouted out, says good luck all, talking about all the competitors tonight. Again, the chats are open. Feel free to message in there. We love bringing you guys into the stream and into the broadcast. So again, thank you very much. But yeah, a lot of pressure right now from that 19.
Yeah, it looks like Fury Motorsports brought a second notebook and was like, what can we do to take care of this dominant Muro Motorsports? And looks like they kind of found the method here. You got one driver just outside the top 5, one about to pass the current race leader, that being Richie Coy. So they brought their A game tonight, Dustin, and it's kind of showing here. 51 laps in, we're a third of the way through this event, and Fury Motorsports for the first time might be taking over the lead here as he gets a good strong run off of turn number 4, dips that nose down just inside the 26th fender here. As they come across the line on lap number 52, the 19 makes a strong dive into turn number 1, and new race leader for the 5th time this evening, Richie Coy.
Yeah, Richie Coy takes over that race lead. That was a veteran move, but the 26 of Matthew Vachon is not done. Almost an identical move pulled on Richie Coy that Richie Coy pulled on Vachon just a lap prior, as these guys are drag racing it out down the front stretch of the start-finish line. Count that one, though, to the 19 of Richie Coy leading that lap, but they are still side-by-side into turn 1. Want to give a shout-out to one of the newest nerds to join Nerditudes as well. Mr. Zach Attack says, what's up, everybody? Doing excellent, seeing some excellent racing. So, Jeremy, these guys here, they are not giving up side by side as they were near making contact going down that backstretch.
Richie Coy, one of the best to put the pressure on the high side line there to kind of squeeze the bottom off, and it's exactly what you're seeing. The 26 could not get that run like he wants off these corners, and these corners aren't perfectly, there's a little bit of widening. Oh, there's a little contact. Here. I'm sure Richie did not appreciate that, and you're seeing that 75 and the 5 behind them, and the number 7 Wayne Grossi just really loving this view here. These corners are not perfectly smooth around. There's some sharper parts or some wider parts in the corner, so you have to kind of play the guessing game where that car is going to set up best. But with a little bit of contact there by those two, it's brought everybody else in. It's going to be a pretty strong run here for the race lead. Yeah, and the zoomed camera angle we had there for the longest time, it was just the 19 and 26 show. But as they come off the corner, you see that 75 and that 5 poking their nose in there as these two drivers now for the 3rd straight lap side by side. Contact made. 19 of Richie Coy saves it, though. What a piece of driving on that one. Just contact in that left rear corner got him slideways, but he wheeled out of it. That was a good bit of driving there by that 19. Man, it's got to be frustrating for the 19 to make that pass, knowing he's got the faster car. Now the 26 kind of using that bottom lane up, kind of wearing his tires out a little bit more. 19 just tried to cut the corner a little early, it looks like, over the 26's nose. Maybe the 26 didn't want to run the bottom. Maybe he wanted to push the 19 up a little bit. Just didn't read that correctly. The 19 makes contact. Excellent driving by that 19. That does push him back to 5th place, and as that same thing was going on, the number 7 Wayne Grossi after turn number 2 also got heavy loose. That dropped him back all the way to 13th place in the Pennzoil machine.
And we got cars spinning every which way. Got the 23 of Brody Hanna in the infield. No caution out at this point, but we had cars coming off of that front stretch going all over the place down into the infield, Jeremy. And it looked like it might have been that 23 might have been getting got loose off that corner there and just slid it down. Unfortunate break on that one there as we're watching live right now. Yeah, he just kicked it sideways. Contact with the 67 of James Wallace. Both drivers, though, keep it they keep it on the inside there. They keep it low, but it does look like James Wallace is going down pit road right now to come to the service of his crew, so might be a little bit more damage on that 67 Chevy Camaro than what we first seen.
Yeah, that right front took a huge pounding there, and probably a little bit of a toe knockout there. He's already a little bit into a run. Might as well just come in and service that car since you're already slowed down the front stretch. What a crazy amount of, or a couple laps for this Fury Motorsports team for the 19 to get involved with your race leader now, Matthew Vachon, and then just a lap later, seeing Brody Hanna get loose off of turn number 4. So crazy turn of events there. 2 of the guys that were, lurking in the top 5 and showing some dominant speed, all of a sudden with issues with the 23, and then Richie Coy just sitting inside the top 5.
Yeah, and as all that was going on, you seen the newcomer up 19 positions from his starting spot. Fred Moreau has taken over that second spot, passing Chuck Sweeting, and now he is chasing down his Moreau Motorsport teammate, Matthew Vachon. And Jeremy, he's got some speed. He is coming in. His corner entry, he gains on those corners like crazy. So he's take a look at that 5 car. He is definitely on the move.
Yeah, lap by lap, just getting a little better. He's lurking. Yeah, he's going to get there, Dustin. That 26 does not have the best long-run speed, and everybody else is creeping in on him. And especially that number 5, Mr. Fred. He's looking to be the 6th newest leader in this race. He's going to be there just a few laps. He's gaining like a half a tenth here, half a tenth there. Very consistent behind that wheel in that number 5 Ford Mustang. So, we might see a new lead change here real shortly.
Yeah, as we're actually in cockpit right now with the 5 of Fred Moreau, as we're watching him chase down his teammate. And like you said, super smooth on that wheel. Not a lot of adjustments. Coming out of the corner, driving it off that right rear just slightly. But just, minor adjustments going through. His car definitely seems like it is right where he wants it to be, and it's showing right now as he is closing in on that race leader.
And just a 3/10 this time by. Mark that actually just under 3/10 here. Just very slowly ticking away, but his teammate, owner Nicholas Moreau, 2 positions behind him. He's moved all the way back up to 4th place. That 15's looking a little looser. In turn number 2, he wobbled quite a bit there. Right behind that 75. And you see that 19 behind that 15 as well. Richie Coy wants to get back up there and kind of redo that incident that they had about 10 laps prior.
Yeah, and you took the words right out of my mouth there. The 15 definitely looking loose, and I agree. That was a big wobble coming off turn 2. But that could be some of the factor of, the 15 of Nicholas having to use more of his tires, working his way up through the field. So we may be starting to see a little bit of the downside of having to work the lap traffic like that. His speed is still there, but the handling may not be exactly where he would like it to be. But like you said, the top 5 is definitely shaken up. You've got 3 Moreau Motorsports drivers running 1st, 2nd, and 4th. Chuck Sweeting with Gator Racing splitting up those Moreau Motorsports drivers, and 3rd running solid. And Richie Coy, after that contact with Matthew Vachon, fell back, rebounded in 5th right now, still trying to chase it.
That 15, the way his car's handling is exactly how I want my car to handle. A little bit loose, put that in the driver's hands. Usually at Nashville, your car gets pretty tight being on this concrete. Not the case here for the 15. So when you have that control still in your hands, you're able to do some things that you can't do if you have a tight car, which you have to just wait for the car to rotate. I hate that. It's the worst feeling. I think the 15's got the perfect situation for him. If there's another caution, or after these round of pit stops, we might see that 15 go back at least in the podium position minimally, if not back to where he started. 5 for 5 on the front pole.
Absolutely. Going back just as a recap with some of the events that took place, where Richie Coy is running after the contact that was there. Rebounded, currently running in 5th. Brody Hanna, after getting loose off of turn 4, has fallen back to 19th place. And the driver that he made contact with as he was spinning down, James Wallace, is in 20th place. So those were all the drivers that were involved in near caution incidents that did not bring out the caution, but I do see that the 11, Jeremy, after that early race incident and that separated right front tire, is back out on the track. And Jeremy, Tony Solari is one of those drivers we know does not give up. If he can get that car repaired and back out there, that guy, he point races big time.
Shout out to his pit crew for getting that thing repaired. His fastest lap in the race prior to that wreck was a 30.4, and right now he's only running upper 31. So for that car to have a complete disconnect of that tire, able to get back whatever would need to be repaired, that car is, only a second off the pace, which is pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, and I mean that's the good thing. I mean they can be repaired. It's just, it is so tough when it comes to these cars. I mean, when you're sitting on pit road for 10 minutes of required repairs, just to be able to get that car in competing form again and back out there, it's tough. But hats off to his crew, hats off to Tony Solari as well for staying with it and getting back out there. And he's still chalking some laps up. Back up front though, we see that 5 of Fred Moreau's inching closer and closer to his teammate. They were coming off of turn 2, and Fred gained a lot of ground on that 26. That 26 looks like struggling coming off the corners here, so possibly some handling issues right now later in this run as we're working lap 70 of 150.
Yeah, I'm surprised that 5 hasn't gained any more ground than what he has, really. He's kind of almost stalled out. Actually gets a really good run off of turn number 4 this time. It's going to bring him right to the back bump of his teammate, where he kind of relaxes entering turn number 1 this time. That 26 though, that long run speed is just not there. He's getting a little push tight off of 2 especially. It's allowing that 5 to kind of creep in. He has more the ability to move his car wherever he wants to, and I think that's why he's able to creep under the 26 the way he is. The 26 with a really conservative exit here because he knows that car is tight and allows that number 5 to get right up to the bumper here. But once again, it looks like he's going to back up just a little bit to give some breathing room on that 26. He's not really putting the pressure on him to make that fast right now.
No, very conservative corner entry for the 5 of Fred Moreau as we are on board with Fred right now. And yeah, you are hearing Fred downshift as he gets a really good run going through there. These next-gen cars have that 5-speed sequential shifting, so they, depending on track size and right around these mile-and-a-halfers, a lot of these cookie cutters, you will see them downshift to try to get that acceleration through the corner, but definitely a very conservative corner entry, Jeremy, for Fred Moreau right now. Not really wanting to put a lot of pressure on it. A little bit of a bobble there. The 26 has to go up. You're going to see the 5. This is his moment. He sees the opening and opportunity. 5 of Fred Moreau on the inside of the 26. The 26 is not going to fight him. Going to let him go by, knowing that he had the speed and the preferred line going in. New leader for the first time ever in Full Throttle Sim Racing competition is the number 5 of Fred Moreau, up 20 spots from his initial starting spot, Jeremy.
That's going to be your 6th leader this race, number 5 of Fred Moreau. Definitely a strong car here, well deserved. He's already taken off, Dustin. He's already got about a 4 to 5 car length advantage entering turn number 3 here. The 26 does not want to let that go, but the way that car is handling it, just a little tight, he cannot get to where he needs to speed-wise. And Chuck Sweeting, he's still only 1.4 out. He's kind of lurking still, but we're just over halfway, Dustin. So before these green flag pit stops do take underway, I'd like to get to our commercial break that we like to do halfway through each event. So stay tuned. We're going to go side by side. We'll be back in just a few short messages.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
Alright guys, welcome back to full screen coverage for the Nerd TV broadcast, live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Gaming, wherever you do your streaming. We basically got you covered all the way around. And you see that number 5, Fred Moreau, picking away, Dustin. He's 0.8 of a second now over that 26th Matthew Vachon. And then behind them, Chuck Sweeting's fallen off a second since we mentioned him right before the break. He's now 2.4 off your race leader. So things are kind of spaced out here inside the top 5.
Yeah, spaced out indeed. Like you said, Fred Moreau working on trying to crack a second in between Matthew Vachon. More space lost in between Chuck Sweeting and those front two, but he has also gapped himself away from the 15 of Nicholas Moreau, who has worked his way back up through the field after that long stint on pit road during the first caution. And Richie Coy has been right there as well. So these top 5 pretty much have stayed solid, just a little bit more space in between them. But right now, Jeremy, I guarantee you these drivers are screaming right now for pit road because they want some 4 fresh sneakers on these cars. And I guarantee you they're going to be looking that way here shortly.
Yeah, these guys last pitted around lap 37, I think, what I'm seeing. So we got about 50 laps on this run right now, and yeah, I would imagine I'm one of those drivers that'd be screaming because I don't like the long ground feel when a car is tight. I know these are open steps and people are driving a little different, but I've seen a lot of cars out there that are running push tight, minus that 15, and just continue to get loose off of turn number 2 as he did so right in front of the 19 that time through the exit of the corner. I think at this point they're getting really close to hitting that point to where they can pit and make it the rest of the way. But who's going to be the first one to do it? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, 15 got real loose right in front of the 19 that last lap there. You definitely tell the wear and tear on those tires going through. So the 19 really trying to work to try to at least gain another spot before these green flag pit stops happen. Because, Jeremy, we've seen it time and time again. A lot of these drivers, they can make up a lot of time on pit road as they go in. So we're about ready once green flag pit stops start. We're about ready to see a lot of these standings, the top 5, top 10. It's going to get jumbled up, and you're going to see possibly more spacing in between drivers. And in some cases, you're going to see the spacing that was there pre-pit will not be there post-pit.
Yeah, I've noticed too, a lot of the guys that like to pit early, you got to do it at the perfect moment. Because if you pit early and take advantage of that fresh set of tires, typically you're like, man, I got to make up all the time I can, right? And so they go for it. Then they overheat the tires. and then they spend the next 40 laps beating themselves up saying, why did I do that? Now these guys are just catching me, and they blow off the doors, and they usually fall back. So when you make that early stop, you have to tell yourself, hey, I need to go slower to go faster kind of deal. Actually, speaking of that, in 15 of the 19 swap positions, Richie Coy does get around for 4th place. That 15, if you watch him, he is so loose, especially off turn number 2. That's been his troublesome corner. He just can't get the throttle down for anything on turn number 2.
Yeah, and we do have green flag pit stops happening right now. Matthew Vachon is coming in. Sherwood Williford and Stephen Allen in on the pits right now. There you see Vachon on your screen is coming into the pit. So green flag pit stops have started. They started a couple laps ago, right around lap 85 or so. They started rolling in the pits, 85 to 88. So, Jeremy, here pretty soon, pit road is going to be a busy place for these drivers as they are going to be coming in, getting 4 fresh tires on there. And the thing is it's going to get busy and busy fast because these drivers are not going to want to stay out there, Jeremy, because fresh tires, these new drivers hitting the track now are going to be going lightning fast, and they're going to be gaining and picking up a lot of time as Ryan Hedrick hits pit road right now.
Yeah, some of the guys right now that are out there on the long run, like we'll go to the race leader just for the prime example. Fred Moreau's last time by was a 32 flat. His last lap before that, also a 32 flat. And these guys are running under 30 seconds at some point on fresh tires. That's a 2-second advantage you see in the 50 and the 47 make the way to pit road now. But 2 seconds, Dustin, between your fast lap and your slow laps right here for the race leader. That's a lot of ground if you stay out to try to make up later on.
Oh, absolutely. As we see the 02 of Josh Mayu and the 37 of Brian Dublé have hit pit road for their green flag pit stop. Again, these are all scheduled pit stops, and your leader, Fred Moreau, coming down pit road right now at the line. So your leader is pitting. That's going to also bring in Chuck Sweeting. Nicholas Moreau is also coming in. Looks like Richie Coy and Matthew Tremblay elected to stay out. Wayne Grossi's coming down pit road as well, Jeremy.
What an impressive pit stop by the 15 of Nicholas Moreau. Not necessarily the pit stop at the entry. He was able to gain so much ground over that 75 of Chuck Sweeting entering in. That's going to help him out as he's trying to work his way back into the race lead. But see the number 7 coming down pit road as well. Yeah, it's definitely a busy place right now.
Yeah, and now the question is when are some of these race leaders, namely being Richie Coy in that 19 and Matthew Tremblay in that 25, when are they going to come down pit road? You know, they do not want to stay out very long because the longer that they stay out, the more time that these drivers with fresh tires are going to be making up. So I would expect to see that 19 peel off, if not this lap, next lap, but I wouldn't hold off any longer than that.
19 coming down right now. As soon as you talked about it, he does get really slideways. What? No, overcorrected.
Man.
Misses the cone. That's excellent driving to not get a penalty, but he has lost probably 10 seconds plus trying to save that car. I thought he had it after that initial slide. I thought he did an excellent job, but just overcorrection and huge costly mistake there from Richie Coy.
Yeah, that transition from the track to the apron as he was coming in under speed, just the car upset that car and just got it sideways, almost had it saved. But I will give him credit, he did a heck of a job keeping it off the grass and away from that cone for an unsafe pit entry penalty. But again, he's going to lose a lot of time on the track. He's going to have to make that time up.
Right now your race leader, Matthew Tremblay, you can see the time difference if you watch him. He just got passed by the 575 and the 14 literally like he was sitting still. I was going to make a mention that Richie Coy likes to pit a little bit later than everybody else because when he has the freshest set of tires, he typically does much better. But tonight will not be the case due to that pit little incident he had there getting down to speed and time. But the 25, will he make the similar move and stay out a few more laps and just, go all Hail Marys at the end of the race with the fresher set of tires?
Yeah, it's I don't know, Jeremy. It's hard to call. I'm like you. I've quit bringing a notebook here because it's so hard to tell, but he doesn't want to stay out. And it looks like he is pitting this lap here. Little shaky, little wobbly coming off the apron, much like Richie Coy, but keeps it going there. But yeah, you don't want to stay out too long. Having the fresher tires is great, but the amount of time that you lose on the track, I mean, a 2-second difference, that is monumental, especially at a 1.5-mile track like that.
Speaking of monumental, that's number 19, Richie Coy. What did get put down 1 lap down, just virtue of him getting loose and trying to overcorrect it and taking a lot of time. So he's got a lot of work to do. He's going to be praying for a caution this next lap or so to get things regrouped. But on the 25 exit pit road, he is one of very few left over. Chad Langen, the number 4, going to resume as your race leader. Brody Hanna is the second car and the only car left to not pit. Once those two do the 4 and 23, it's going to bring Matthew Vachon at 26 back to the race lead. And Stephen Lou Allen's going to be right behind him as well, only about a second or so behind. So props to Mr. Lou Allen there.
Yeah, and right now you're seeing Chad Lang is about to get gobbled up by the 26 and Matthew Vachon. Right there on your screen, folks, is the difference between older tires and fresher tires. Past like they were sitting still, and that's where that time is going to be made up right now. Matthew Vachon is definitely running good. Fresh set of tires. James Wallace hits pit road right now for his scheduled pit stop. Now, he was able to stay out a little longer because after that early race incident that didn't bring out the caution there, where he had to come in for a little bit of repair on that right front, he got tires then, so he was able to stay out due to, again, tires and fuel from pit road. So he's going to be off pace and off cycle from the rest of the other drivers here, but Matthew Vachon taking it, and here comes Brody Hanna. We had just talked about those two needed to pit, and here they come.
Yeah, and I also want to bring up the 24. I mentioned Stephen Lou Allen that last time, and he actually pitted on lap number 80, so he's got 20 laps on his tires right now. That's why he's able to resume back currently in second place, or actually third place for that matter. So 24 temporarily has got a really good spot on the racetrack. We don't know how much longer he's going to be able to hold that with his laps being 20 laps longer than everybody else. So you see Chuck Sweeting going to catch him up real quick here. But that number 5, Fred Moreau, he's got some work to do, Dustin, too. He's 5.5 seconds back over that 26, and he was in front of the 26, so he's got 5.5 seconds to make up there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the 5 crew on pit road, but they definitely lost a lot of time. If you look at who they were in front of pre-green flag pit stops to post-green flag pit stops, he lost positions to both Matthew Vachon, Chuck Sweeting, and Stephen Lou Allen is running further back but pitted earlier, but that was that time difference. He was able to pull faster laps and make that time up, but he's going to get gobbled up here. So, definitely have a lot of work to do right now, but you see he's getting a lot of push from his team owner right there, the 15 and Nicholas Moreau, as they're going to go in the corner side by side. They're going to start getting racy here coming off turn 4.
15 doesn't care if that's his teammate, his brother, his sibling, who knows. But he's going to run him hard in the turn number 3, makes that spot happen. So the 15 advances 1 position, puts himself currently in 4th place. And now it's in the 15's turn to run down that number 26.
Yep, so going to try to attempt to run down their teammate, Matthew Vachon. Your top 5 as it sits right now is Matthew Vachon, Chuck Sweeting trying to chase him down. Chad Lang still holding in that 3rd position, but not for much longer as the 15 and Nicholas Moreau is going to make a pass on the inside. This is for podium position here. And right behind him, Fred Moreau is going to be following as well, so mark those 2 cars up 1 position each. Chad Lang back to 5th, still in the top 5. Rounding out the rest of your top 10, Stephen Lou Allen has fallen back to that 7th position after running 3rd there through the cycle of green flag pit stops. Sherwood Williford in 8th. Gil Gawk in a solid top 10 run right now. We haven't mentioned his name a lot tonight, but he has quietly been running back there, working his way up, and had a good cycle of green flag pit stops. He is solidly in that top 10 right now, and rounding out your top 10 is the 44, Chris Beck.
Yeah, he's still made top 10. That number 44 had put on a pretty decent performance tonight. Almost had an altercation a couple times during the side-by-side. The 47 and him almost got tangled up in 1 and 2. Kind of costed him a couple seconds, and then his pit stop wasn't the cleanest, so he's 14 seconds back of Matthew Vachon in that 26. But decent run for that 44 overall. Also want to make a mention too that Chuck Sweeting having 3 laps fresher tires in that race leader. You know Chuck Sweeting's good on these long runs, and every lap since these pit stops, Dustin, he's gained 0.2 a lap. So with that math, he's well going to be advancing over that 26 as long as he keeps those tires clean.
Yeah, which, I mean, he's going to need that just under 3.5 second split difference between your race leader, Matthew Vachon, and that man on your screen right now, Mr. Chuck Sweeting. But again, 0.2 a second. He has been slowly reeling him in, but we have 42 laps left, Jeremy. So these drivers know that this race is ticking down. They're going to have to start moving. The trick here is, and we've seen it time and time again, we know that Chuck Sweeting is one of those drivers that can do it. He wants to chase down that race leader, but he doesn't want to burn his stuff up because he's got to have a little reserve in the tank to try to make that pass once he does catch Matthew Vachon.
You absolutely have to play that game of patience. Patience is going to be key, especially at this track with a little bit of flatter turns and the tighter turn radius. It is so easy to overheat these tires at this track. So you just have to let the car roll, let it do its thing naturally. Don't force anything. He knows he's got a fast car. He knows he can get there. You just kind of play that patience game. Unless you're like Fred Moreau, who's back there still 5.5 seconds back in 4th place, where you know your car is dominant, but with a little bit of a mistake, you kind of let that get to your head, and you're like, I have to make this ground up. And he's going to try to push Dustin, hoping to get a caution and kind of reset himself. But keep an eye out for that 75. I think he might be a little bit of a spoiler for that 26.
Yeah, and he very well could. If this race goes green flag, or if they happen to get a quick caution and it bunches this field back up, that could play a factor in the entire outlook of this race. So again, these 4 out of the top 5, so 2nd through 5th right now, I mean, they're in chase mode. They are chasing down that race leader, but they're trying to play, like you said, that patience game. They're trying to be conservative, not burn their stuff up. And that also includes Steven Allen as well. So he's in that 5th position past Chad Lang. He's trying to chase down the Moreau Motorsports duo of Nicholas Moreau and Fred Moreau. So call it the Moreau Motorsports, call it the Moreau duo, whatever you want to call it. But again, a solid run right now for Lane Allen, who has worked his way up 12 positions to where he's at right now into the top 5.
Couple cars down pit road, the number 4. Battling in the 44 of Chris Beck. They both get their last service for green flag conditions this time. They pitted a lot earlier than most other guys did. They pitted around lap 90. I think Chris Beck last pit stop was back all the way on lap 72. So it's about 40 laps to go. So that's why he's making a late race stop here. Going to get back to the racing track and try to complete the rest of the race. He's got a lot fresher tires now, so he will be able to gain some ground back. But him being 1 lap down the last car right now, he's quite a bit of ways now from the race lead.
Yeah, and he's about to go another one as the race leader. Matthew Vachon is only 2 cars behind him right now. The car directly behind Chris Beck is at 50 of Martin Garreau, and the right behind him is the 26 of Matthew Vachon. But with the fresher tires, he should have no issue staying out there, as these drivers have now had about 20 laps on these tires as they're 20 laps into this run. So Chris Beck should be able to maintain that spot and not go another lap down.
And look at this number 5, Fred Moreau, just out of a cannon, just past his 15 teammate Nicholas Moreau. And now he's caught Chuck Sweeting. Last time I brought him up was about 10 laps ago. He was 5.5 seconds back. Now he's 3.5 seconds back. So as I was talking about him maybe making a push, saying I got to make up for my mistake, it looks like he's doing just that. Just coming right out of a cannon, going from 4th to 2nd, just like that. So now as he gets around that 75 in turn number 3 here, he's got his eyes set now for that 26. His teammates, he gets a little loose off before there.
Yeah, you can tell he is pushing that car. That's usually a call sign that the drivers are really pushing that car and they're really heating up that right rear tire on their corner exits like that, as he got a little loose coming off that corner but was able to maintain it. But loose is fast. It's just on the edge of insanity right there. You know, leave it in the driver's hands like you said. That's where it's at, and he's doing exactly what he needs to. That distance right now, 3.3 seconds, just under 3.3 seconds, is that split gap between that man right there on your screen, Fred Moreau, and his Moreau Motorsport teammate, Matthew Vachon. As you see, Vachon right now is working lap traffic. And right now, Fred has got clear track in front of him. So that's better for Fred right now to try to close that gap up, as now he's under 3 seconds, 2.9 seconds, Jeremy.
Just hauling the mail even after getting crazy loose off before the lap prior, still making impressive gains here. That number 5 is on a mission to get back to that race lead. He got a little bit of a taste of it. He wants it. Just will he get there? Will his tires be able to get there? You know, that kind of question. Will we see that 15 come around? Maybe Chuck's playing that waiting game still, as he's kind of falling off. He was gaining 0.2 a lap, you know, right out of the box, but now it's kind of roles reverse. Matthew's kind of pulling a little bit on that Chuck Sweeting machine, so you know, you're starting to see some tire wear kind of adjust and fluctuate right now.
Yeah, and I'm kind of seeing about the same thing kind of plaguing the 15 though, Nicholas Moreau. Not really gaining anything on the race leader or Chuck. I mean, they're kind of stalemating right now. So Nicholas Moreau, you know, could be playing possum, or you know, he may have used his stuff up as well. Taking a look back, Richie Coy, who had that near complete spin on pit road, is rebounded back to 8th. You see him really trying to work right now. That next car in front of him is for position. That is Matthew Tremblay. He is trying to pass him, trying to work his way towards that top 5.
Yeah, he's 2 positions away from getting there, and Sherwood Williford, just, you know, he's right there. He's the next one, not too far away. And then top 5, Lane Allen in that 14. We haven't spoke about him too much being inside the top 5. He is there, and he's holding it pretty well, about a 4-second advantage over that 33 machine. So impressive run by that 14. But we know Richie Coy also, really fast car, trying to make up much ground as possible after that pit road mistake, as he's now right on the back bumper for that 25, trying to take over 7th place.
Yeah, trying to take over that 7th place. He is closing in fast, as we are riding on board with him right now. Again, he's going to try to get that run coming off the corner. You see him try to put the nose there. If the car sticks and he can get that run, this is where a lot of the passes tend to be made, because if they can get that nose on the inside coming off of the corner, that sets them up for that dive in going into the next corner. He just couldn't get the nose there, but Jeremy, he is all over the back bumper of Tremblay.
Really wanting that spot right now, and 25 is not going to be giving it up easily there, as every point counts right now, especially when you're racing Richie Coy. Keep him on the back side of you, just because Richie's going to be there for the points. He's definitely there. He's right now the points leader, 7 points ahead of Chuck Sweeting, so that 25 can stay ahead of him. He came into this race 16 points out of Richie Coy, so he wants to be 15 or 14 out when this race is over with.
Yeah, every position, every car that's in between those 2 drivers is a point that is either gained or lost, depending on what point of view you are looking at it right now. And the point of view that we're watching right now from the 19 of Richie Coy, those are points lost. So he wants to try to get those cars and get as few cars as possible in between him and Chuck Sweeting, or even past Chuck, because if he passes Chuck, that's when he actually gets into that point gain category.
Going back to the race lead temporarily, Fred Moreau is down to 1.4 seconds. Just in the next 10 laps or so, he's able to gain another 2 seconds. So he's almost there, that number 26. And his tires are not that far off. Like, he's still running pretty strong lap times consistently. There's not like it's a huge fall off right now for that number 5. Able to maintain his run here. 1.3, so another 10th gain there. He's got to get around that number 37. Brian Dublé, it's going to be the only car between them currently. It looks like in turn number 3, he's probably able to get this pass completed.
Yeah, which, again, it is just astounding that he's able to gain the time that he has, because right now Fred is working through the traffic that Matthew Vachon had just gotten done working through. Right now Vachon has got a clear track in front of him, and Fred is still gaining time as he works around the lap traffic that's going on in front of him. So that 5 car, they definitely have a hot rod underneath that driver right now tonight.
That car's running just a little loose there. As the Murray Motorsports cars tend to be running a little bit loose, especially off of turn number 2. Just a little bit of a wobble there, no problem. But that car very consistent around this 1.33 mile super speedway, as they like to call it, which for me it's almost not even a speedway. It's almost like a short track in a way with some decent straightaway speed. But yeah, another 2/10 that time around, so exactly 1 second now separates first and second place. And minus 7th and 8th with Richie finally got around Matthew Tremblay, puts himself into 7th place. Outside of that, really, this is the battle, man, for the race lead.
Yeah, with 24 laps to go, you are on board right now, looking off the back end of Matthew Vachon. That next car back there, that is Fred Moreau, and he is coming. And Jeremy, I think right now, if Matthew Vachon could have anything, I think he'd want to have a little something with some focus, don't you think?
You know, there's this really awesome product that's out there that kind of helps you with that. When it comes in 2 excellent flavors, you're going to find that at nerdfocus.com. Use that code SUPERNERD for 10% off. Make sure to do that. These drinks are well worth it even at the normal price, but if you can save $1, especially with how things are pricey these days, get any discount possible. And this drink will definitely keep you focused and alert for hours on end. I will not let you down. Once again, nerdfocus.com, super nerd at checkout for 10% off.
Yeah, and right now that is exactly what Matthew Vachon is doing, is he is trying to focus on hitting his marks. He knows that 5 is coming. He knows that 5 is coming. He can see that relative in his car right now, in his rig. He knows that split differential is getting smaller and smaller as we go, almost at half a second right now, about 0.6 of a second, Jeremy. So Fred is coming. That 5 car is coming with 21 laps to go.
I'm just impressed about this tire wear fall off. It's non-existent, that number 5. It's either Vachon is playing possum right now and just kind of luring him into a false sense of, hey, you're gonna pass me, or this could be reality, where Vachon is not able to maintain a long run again this second time around, which he's got about 40 laps on those tires right now. Either one, I don't know. I almost feel like the 5's just that much better, but they're the same team, and they probably have a very similar setup underneath these cars. So, really impressed. Maybe it's the Mustang. He's the only Mustang in the team, so maybe it's just the Ford power that's allowing him to get back to the 26.
Oh, you would go there, wouldn't you, being a Ford man? Yeah, being a Ford guy, I wouldn't expect anything. And on your screen right now, you can see that gap is almost essentially non-existent, 0.3 of a second. Little less separates your race leader Vachon from that man right there, the 5 of Fred Moreau. Jeremy, it's gonna be a battle. The 5 is gonna get there, but getting there is only half the battle. Once he gets there, he still has to pass the 26, and with the race win on the line with 18 laps to go, 26 is not going to give it up lightly.
And if you remember the last time the number 5 passed that 26, as the 26 actually gets really tight here in the exit of turn number 2, and that's going to erase everything I was just going to say. The 5 kind of waits very patiently to make that pass happen, but the 26 just essentially gave it to him by overdriving the entrance of turn number 2. It pushes up wide. The number 5 gets back around. The Fred Moreau takes it over with 17 laps to go.
What a drive on that, especially after coming into green flag pit stops in the race lead and falling all the way back to that 5th to 6th position. and having, I mean, it was at one point in time 5-6 second gap, and is able to chase him down and pass his teammate for the race lead. 17 laps to go, and that 5 is in command of this right now. Vachon back to second. Chuck Sweeting still holding that third spot right now as we are watching, but that 15 of Nicholas Moreau has closed that gap a little bit. There was space. There was about a second space or so in between them. That space has now dropped down to about 0.2 of a second difference right now. Actually less as they were going through that corner there as the 15 closed up. A little wobbly though on that exit though from that 15.
One car length separates that 75 and that 15, and this is for third place. This is for the interview. This is for podium. So a little bit more at stake for third place. You don't see that on the stat board, but it's always good to come up here in the nerd booth and talk to us, you know, to kind of relay the message and say hi to people if you got someone out there watching, that kind of deal. So it's always good to see these guys battle for that. But Chuck, this past lap, able to extend that lead by 2 car lengths.
Yeah, able to extend that lead a little bit more breathing room, which is always good. Again, with 15 laps to go. Right now, Steve and Lou Allen still holding that final top 5 position in 5th. Richie Coy doing everything he can to try to chase down that 14 of Steven Allen. Richie Coy trying to rebound back from that pit road entry mistake. Didn't get any penalties or anything else. Was able to save himself from that, which saved him a lot of time. But has definitely put him back. He was running solidly in the top 5, and now he is working everything he can in the last 14 laps to try to break that top 5 again.
Yeah, he's putting on a pretty excellent performance, just 1.5 seconds out with 14 to go, 13 at the line. He's going to cut it really close, Dustin. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there, but he's making a solid effort to make that attempt happen. That is a stat. That is top 5, and he did get around that 25 a little bit ago. That's going to all but extend his points lead over some people that he needs to. These guys, they all run pretty fast all season long, so anytime you can get some extra points, it's always a benefit. You see Richie Coy actually right there working his wheel a little bit. It's been interesting to see him, Dustin, entering that pit road. Maybe next time we'll catch a little bit of better hands-on there, but 19 right now, definitely super focused, trying to get around that 14. Because he's got some lap traffic too.
Yeah, he's got some lap traffic ahead of him. So on the left there, you can see his cockpit view. Looks like that car's a little loose coming off the corner. You see him drifting that wheel to the right a little bit, but he's able to really drive it off of there and really gain some speed. But you can see the focus in that man's eyes. He has got his eyes focused on that bright green Mountain Dew car. He's trying to chase him down right now, but some excellent in-car shots and in-rig shots there presented by Sim Racing Points.
Yeah, there's about 11 laps to go, and he's just got a few car lengths left. I think after retracting my statement, he will get there, but, you know, getting there is one thing, passing is another. This track's a little bit tougher to pass. It's going to cause that 14 to make a mistake, or if you can maybe get that high side momentum, but actually, Richie Coy is really good at passing people on the bottom here. I noticed on the ARCA series, he's one of very few cars just to take advantage of the speed on the bottom and able to make stuff happen. He's kind of staled off the past lap or so, as he's kind of waiting around the 14 right now.
Yeah, all of them, though, Jeremy, are chasing that man right there. Fred Moreau in that number 5 Moreau Motorsports Ford. Again, I have to point that out because I know you pointed it out being a Ford guy. He has separated himself out from his teammate Matthew Vachon. Vachon's still hanging with him a little bit, but he stretched it out to almost 0.7 of a second gap right now, going through here with only 9 laps to go, Jeremy. So everything is in his hands, but we have seen stranger things happen in these races. I mean, it is auto racing. I mean, half of the battle is skill, half of it is luck. So
you know, the Ford's the dominant car just like they are in real life, and you know that 26, you said it, he's kind of holding tight. They got to about 6 or 7 tenths separated, and then from this point they've been gridlocked, 0.6 each lap, so running very identical lap times. Might see that late shift in that tire wear, but I don't know if there's enough time. We got 8 laps to go. to make that ground up. I think the number 5, as long as he keeps a consistent line, he's there. And the 19, by the way, does still get around the number 14 off the exit of turn number 2. It's going to put Richie Coy up to 4th place.
Up to 5th place. He just cracked the top 5 there.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he wishes he was in 4th, though, after everything that happened. But I tell you what, that's a hell of a rebound from that 19 crew and the driver piloting that 19 Ford Mustang right now, getting back into the top 5. Only 2 positions separate him and Chuck Sweeting right now. So with that being, I mean, that's 2 positions. Just based on position, no bonus points. That's only 2 points lost to his lead, just based off positional points. So that's a much smaller gap, much more manageable for these drivers that are championship points racing right now, as we're, again, race 5 of this 12 race schedule. So, you know, that's a good rebound, good points race. It's definitely something I would not be disappointed with, especially after everything that happened.
Yeah, absolutely not. The rebound in the 5th place is excellent. It kind of preserves what points you have. I know Chuck Sweeting came into this thing 7 points behind Richie Coy. Right now he's running in 3rd, so he's going to gain a couple points. Going to be around 5 points out or so. But he still maintains the points lead even after a mistake like that. So that's still going to be a success, I would think, at least in his book. That number 5 has extended the lead out with 5 laps to go. He's almost to a full second advantage over his teammate. Still super impressed on how that 5 was able to just drive through the field like that, get to the lead, and not have any repercussions as far as that tire wear goes. At a track like Nashville, it's really tough to have that balance.
It really is. Like you said, I mean, this track may look smooth. I mean, the corners may look, you know, symmetrical and everything else, but it's not an easy track to do, especially working through the field like that, Jeremy. That's not something easy when you got to sit here and start weaving through traffic, and you have a 5-second deficit between you and the leader you have to make up. That's a lot of work, and I mean, that just you know, gives more credit to that driver and that team there, because they put themselves in positions with 3 laps to go, Jeremy.
Yeah, so maintaining an 0.8 of a second lead over his teammate Matthew Vachon. We've got a couple laps left. There's a couple drivers trying to make some positions happen here. The 25 and 33 are getting pretty close. That 14, when Lane Allen's falling back, he might fall to the 25. I don't know. As we got 2.5 laps left. But all right now, back to the number 5. You know, it's coming to be his time. First start ever in FTSR, and with just under 2 laps to go, has found himself at a 1-second advantage over second place. Who can honestly say in their first, and I know people have done it in the past, but there's a low percentage of people that can go, hey, I won my first ever league race at this league, and 1 lap away from that 5 from doing so.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's probably happened in full throttle sim racing history. I don't know as of recently if it has. See, that's where, you know, Poshibi Neck would come into play. Kenny Bishop, he's our statistician, big time. So if it ever happened, he'd be able to be the one to tell you when it happened, at what track, and how it happened.
Statistician, I love that term. I want to use it more, but focus on Fred Moroz. He comes around 3 and 4 for the final time this evening for the Nashville 200. Fred Moreau, the winner in his inaugural race of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League for race number 5 of the season.
What a performance by that 5 team to come out of the box like that. Didn't qualify, up 20 positions from his starting grid spot to win this race. Come from a 5-second deficit right there at the tail end of the top 5 to pass his teammate and get that victory. That's a heck of a run, Jeremy. That is a heck of a run.
Absolutely, just dominant performance when it comes to just sheer speed on that second run. He wasn't up front the entire race, but just the way he was able to go from 6 seconds back to the race lead and not have any tire wear fall off like most other guys did. That's something to be said there for that number 5, and that might be a precursor for the rest of the season. If he does show up the rest of the races, you know, he's five race disadvantage, but he's going to be up there and trying to upset and trying to get some wins. There's only been one guy that has 2 wins this season, and now he's got 1. So at least he could win the most wins in a season. Keeping up that performance, the opportunity is there.
Absolutely, it is. And with that, the race officially being done, we're going to go through our finishing results for today's race. Those results being obviously the man on your screen right now, Fred Moreau, takes your race victory over teammate Matthew Vachon, who finishes second. Chuck Sweeting rounds out your podium. We'll be talking to those 3 drivers here momentarily. Nicholas Moreau, again, so 3 team drivers in the top 5. Nicholas finishes 4th. Richie Coy rebound from that pit entry mistake, rebounds to a top 5 finish. Excellent rebound by Mr. Coy. Stephen Allen comes home 6th. Matthew Tremblay 7th. Sherwood Williford, excellent drive there, finishes 8th in a top 10. Gil Gawk, excellent performance tonight, good top 10 finish. And Stephen Lou Allen rounds out your top 10.
Chad Lang just falls out in the top 10, finishes in 11th. 12th place, Wayne Grassi in that number 7. Everybody else 1 lap down or more. 13th place, Ryan Hedrick. 14th, Brody Hannah. 15th place, James Wallace. 16th, Brian Dublé. 17th, Martin Garreau. 18th place will be Chris Beck. 19th, Josh Mayu. 20th place, Steve Loomis. 21st, Tony Solari. 22nd, Alex Murphy. 23rd, Joshua Johnson. And to round out the 24-car field tonight, that number 18 Lonesome Camry and Mr. Brian Bliss. And this will segue right into the Martin Sports post-race show for you guys every broadcast from Nerd TV. And we got some drivers to talk to this evening. I think we have Chuck available here waiting for your first and second place finishers to hop onto the server so we get a word with them as well. See if we can get a word here with Mr. Chuck Sweeting and that number 75 Gator Racing Chevrolet. Chuck, you have a copy?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Going pretty good up here in the booth, man. Pretty interesting race here from Nashville. Lots of different position changes. The guys we thought were going to run up front kind of had some issues midway through the race, and it kind of lets your car. I think you're one of the very few ones that were consistently in the top 5. How is your car feeling overall this evening?
It was pretty good. It was just a tick off, a little bit tight entry and center. Probably needed a little less nose weight in it, but the Moreau team is so stout every week that anytime I can kind of run with them and finish top 3, then I know I'm pretty close and got to be fairly satisfied with that. Wish I was a little bit better, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Moreau Motorsports has been on a rail here as of late. But I mean, you can't count out. I mean, it's you have a 2-car team. I mean, Moreau Motorsports is 6 cars deep. They had 5 cars fielding tonight. For Gator Racing, it's just you and Gil Gawk. And I tell you what, you guys bring some powerhouses every single week. With everything that had out there, I mean, later in that run, it looked like you were slowly but surely reeling in the 26 of Matthew Vachon there, about a 2/10 a lap. What happened there? Did the tires and everything else just kind of go away from you later in that run?
Yeah, a little bit. We also had kind of a cluster of lap cars on newer tires that caught me all together, and had to be kind of careful. And I got a little loose off of turn 2 one time, and then I just kind of settled back into my rhythm again after that. But I don't know. He was overall, I think, faster than me. I might have been faster than him once every 5 laps or something like that. But yeah, they were just really stout. So I'll know what the car needs to feel like. This is the first time I've run this car at this track, I think. So I'll know what I need to feel next time. So hopefully we can improve a little bit before we come back here again.
And we actually made a mention of that, I think, in the pre-race, even about these guys. Everyone out here just had some question marks. We have no idea. It's the first time that we've seen these Cup cars at Nashville, at least the next gens. So there's a lot of things to kind of figure out, especially on iRacing. So, but you made a pretty good job at it. 3rd place, beating the team leader, Nicholas Moreau, who's 5 for 5 on poles. So anytime you can get that done, I think it's a celebration to be had regardless. But congratulations on your 3rd place podium finish here tonight. As always, we'll give you the opportunity to shout out anybody that's currently watching Nerd TV.
Yeah, just hated Joy, and thanks to Gil for the work he does. Congrats to Fred. You know, he's a stout driver. He's got a high I rating. He's spotter in real life, I think, for one of the ACT late model drivers, and probably really knows his stuff pretty good. So good win to him, and just thanks to everybody with the league who puts on the show. It's a lot of hard work and a thankless job sometimes. So I appreciate all the work they do.
Yeah, I appreciate those kind words, Chuck. And go ahead and celebrate with your team on the pretty good performance here tonight, coming home in third place, and we'll catch you on Wednesday.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Yes, sir. And that was Chuck Sweeting, the driver of the 75 Gator Racing Chevrolet. Second and first place, not available as of yet, Dustin. So we're going to try to kind of recap tonight, see if we can pull them in late here. But overall thoughts on the race tonight?
Overall, it was. I thought it was an excellent race. Definitely, what something that we have, been accustomed to seeing from Full Throttle Sim Racing. I mean, we had a couple cautions in the race, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, it was green flag racing. A lot of close racing there. I mean, we've seen a lot of door to door racing for lap on lap, on end. Some contact was made, saves were made. I mean, the driving overall, I mean, the level of competition in the driving was just was very stout today. And especially, you heard it from Chuck Sweeting, the only driver we've been able to interview for the post-race podium show. Had no idea how the car was supposed to handle here, and that's how a lot of the drivers were. Never raced here prior to this week or anything else, so everything was a blank slate. They had no idea what to expect, and for a lot of those drivers to come in like that with a blank notebook and be able to perform and put on the hell of a show that they did, Jeremy, that's a testament to right there.
Yeah, that's kind of our mutual feeling. Is we had those blanks to fill, those question marks to kind of figure out how to get around this 1.33 mile super speedway, air quotes on that. Definitely not a super speedway, at least in the traditional sense. But yeah, we saw a lot of door banging, a lot of checks there right in the center of the door, trying to make some passes happen, and not many wrecks. We saw one early on, two early on, but outside of that, there was a lot of side by side beating and banging, and they kept it going straight. So huge credit to everyone out there. But before we wrap this thing up, Dustin, we got people just to quickly recap our thank yous to everyone out there. Full Throttle Sim Racing, thank you for letting us do this for every Monday and Wednesday. Hopefully we continue to have a great partnership moving forward. Great racing league overall to broadcast and to be a part of. I race on Thursdays. You make some of the races on Thursdays. I know Kenny likes to show up at them. He doesn't necessarily run them all the time, but at least we make the effort. Full Throttle simracing.net. Get signed up. It's a great league to be a part of. Thank you to Mach1 Performance for being the Cup Series sponsor this season. Fabrication shop in the real world that's produced champions from multiple versions of oval and dirt racing. So if you're looking for a race fabrication shop, check out Mach1 Performance. Quick thank you to Sim Racing Points, the Wednesday Series Chuck Series sponsor. SimRacingPoints.com has you covered to keep all your league stats together, organized, and looking professional. Check out the pricing plans at SimRacingPoints.com. Martin Sports, 906.com, or I should say 906.com to be correct. Almost any type of upper body type of apparel that you need, shirts, hoodies, hats, they got you covered. And fastest turnaround in the business when it comes to custom orders. So use that Super Nerd checkout code for 25% off at martinsports906.com. iRacing iFlag, that one-of-a-kind flag marshaling system that goes on your desk, produces up to 30 different iRacing commands and a really bright, little neat object that sits on your desk. Pick one up yourself, iRacingIFlag.com. Super Nerd checkout for 15% off. And Dustin, what we got with the butt kicker?
Yeah, buttkicker.com, the official audio enhancement partner for the nerds. Again, it's that D-Box audio enhancer for your racing rig. Attaches right to your chair, gives you the feeling of all the humps, the bumps, the revs, the rumble strips, the bangs, everything. It's the missing link that you need to fully fulfill your racing rig. So again, excellent products, rock solid. Check them out at thebuttkicker.com. Use that promo code NERDTV to save you a little bit of scratch at checkout. check out. Also want to thank Moonlight Speed Concepts, our official paved setup provider for the nerds. Again, they do anything paved, all from your advanced legends all the way up to your next gen cars that you've seen run tonight, and everything in between that is paved. So again, top-notch setup, excellent community, always updating the setups, giving you guys the best possible link and heads up on competition to get you those much needed victories. So check them out, moonlightspeed.com. On the flip side, for you dirt racers, houseofspeed.us. House of Speed is pro-built setups by decorated dirt racers. They have a lot of the dirt racers on their House of Speed esports team that are competing in the Pro World of Outlaws late model series. These guys know how to get it done. They have fast setups on anything dirt except for road dirt, so no rally setups, unfortunately. Sorry, KB. They don't have you covered, but they have everything else circle and oval related covered. So check them out, houseofspeed.us. And last but not least, Nerd Focus. That is the official energy partner of the nerds here at Nerditudes. Again, known as the Think Drink. Has an excellent taste. Comes in 2 variants. The green one on your screen is your sugar variant. The blue one for us nerds here. We like using the sugar-free, and that is your blue colored can as well. Same great flavor in both of them. Without that harsh crash from other competing energy drinks. So again, excellent thing to give you that much needed focus, whether you're doing work, studies, gaming, or racing. Some of you drivers out there tonight, get that focus on. Check them out, nerdfocus.com. Use that promo code SUPERNERD. Save you 10% at checkout.
That's going to do it for tonight. The other drivers, Fred Moreau and Matthew, unable to come in tonight, but maybe we can catch them next Monday or even this Wednesday. Who knows? We'll see if Fred's going to show up on the Wednesday side as well. But I guess we'll have to find out on Wednesday. So until then, you guys, as always, thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, and as always as well, to make sure to get your nerd on.
And it's not goodbye. It's only till next time. Stay classy and stay nerdy.